Okay. So, like the topic which I chose for today is middle game planning. How to make a winning plan in a middle game. Like openings and tactics, I think you can do it on your own. There are a lot of material in an opening, and then tactics also, so many softwares and all. But I think the understanding of a position, you don't get much sources from learn. You don't get much sources to learn from. So I chose this point. And so, what do you think that in planning, which is the most important thing to see in a middle game planning? Suppose you have to make a plan in a middle game. You have suppose castled, you have developed your pieces, and then you have to make a plan. So, what do you think should be the most important factor to create a plan? Anyone?
Piece activity.
Piece activity, okay, possible, but there is a very major thing, very simple and major thing.
Intent about
Well, mm, yeah, go on.
yeah, that the intent to the opposite king, whether how we can first of all, if it's an equal position, then how I can create a passer for me, or how I can create a small imbalance in the position, like
I think I've gone a very long way ahead. Like simple, no. We have learned a lot about. Suppose in the opening first stage is like development and developing towards the center. So in a middle game plan also, the main factor is center. How is the center? That will determine your plan. Suppose you have different types of center. There is no pawns in a center, that is called open center. Then there is a locking, too many pawns in a center. That's the main thing which will determine your plan. I think you will better understand with some examples. So just let me give you a brief point that there are five types of center: open center, closed center, static center, pawn center, and dynamic center. So open and close, you might have understand that open means there are no pawns in a center, and then closed means you cannot make any pawn move in the center. Now talking about the static center, I'm giving you an example like the pawns are on d4 and d5. No pawn on the e file. The pawns are on d4 and d5. It's not even closed. It's not even open fully. So it's in middle. That's why we call it static center. And the other two are like pawn center. Suppose the opponent is having e4 and d4 pawns, and you don't have any pawn in the center. So that's called a pawn center. And last, dynamic center. Dynamic center, if I have to tell you in a funny way, the starting position is a dynamic center because you don't know which kind of center it will be. It can be open, it can be a closed, it can be a static. So this determines the how your planning should be. And in different centers, you have different plan how to make plans. So I think today we'll cover about closed center and static center. I'll give you some positions, and then according to your understanding, you have to tell me a plan, not not a move, but a plan, like how you will continue ahead 4 to 5 moves. And then I'll give you some understanding that this is the correct way of dealing with such type of positions. Okay. Like any questions regarding this, that if you get any confused, maybe it will be a new thing for all of you, I assume.
I think if we get some examples, I think.
Yeah, that will be better. Okay. Suppose this is a position and it's white to play. Okay, you think for 3 to 5 minutes and just first start with telling me what kind of a center you feel it is, and then the next step should be what your plan will be.
So like n% is a possible case here or not? Just wanted to ask. Like pawn is on d5 and
No, no.
no.
Good question, anyways. Okay, any thoughts?
So I thought of I till now I know only like closed center and open center. So this like felt like okay to some extent close because the passer is being blockaded and the e pawn e4 is blocked by e5. So like but if I need to think of a plan, I can think of knight d3, starting with knight d3. And so the point is, if they play pawn b6 to defend c5, I can go for pawn b4 break. Or if they go knight d7, okay, their bishop is blocked, and I can still
No, no, like the thing is that you are saying good moves, but I did not ask for moves. I asked for a plan. So you should not do concrete calculation or something like in these
Oh,
kind of position.
My plan will be attack on king side because black already has its own problems, like his rook is trapped on the queen side. So he must, like, the black thinking would be somehow to activate its pieces, like to bring knight out, to bring somehow activate its rook or bishop. So I don't want to give time to black to activate its pieces until I start launching attack on the king side by h4, h5, and
Okay.
somehow queen will come to the king side to defend it, and then I roll out my d pawn.
Okay. I mean, how will you attack on the king side? Like pieces. You require pieces to attack also, no? If you look
Yeah,
at all your pieces, where are they directing more?
Queenside.
yeah,
Center
queen
and queen side,
d6.
we can say.
Yeah,
Mm.
center and queen side.
And what is the strength, most powerful strength of white in this position?
Both rooks are on open correct file length.
Passer, passer pawn.
Passer.
Yeah, passer pawn, protected passed pawn. Okay, let me start with the how to plan in this kind of situations. First, two steps of planning is there, like what to do and how to do. So in what to do in close position, this is a close center, okay? In close center, it's very easy to know your plan by looking at your pawn center. Where are they directing?
Side. Queenside.
Queen side, queen side. That means you have to play on the queen side. Because when the center is closed, your first priority is playing on the center. But if the center is closed, you have to either choose between king side or queen side. Your play should not be directionless. That okay, I'll play once b4, and then I'll play f4, then I'll play h4. That is very bad way of playing. You don't have any direction, you are just moving, you are just playing. Why planning is very useful? Because suppose you make a plan that I want to play in the queen side. What Kiran said, knight d3, b4 is the correct plan. But he had to frame it like I want to play on the queen side because my pawn center directs on the queen side. Okay. Why planning is very useful. Now you make a plan knight d3, b4, and then when the c file opens, you will double rook c2, rook c1. Now you have made a plan, 5 moves plan, you have made it. Now you don't have to think for each move. You play knight d3, and then suddenly your opponent plays b6, and then you start thinking. But when you have made a plan already, you will play it instantly in less than 30 seconds. You will not burn your time.
got
So
And like one more thing, yeah,
after b6, what is the point of doubling the rook? Is just to break by b4 or something else?
we can break directly with b4, no?
Okay, after doubling
And
the
b4 makes a lot of sense because his pieces are underdeveloped.
okay.
The rook, knight, bishop, everything is on the back rank. So we'll see this game, how he converted his advantage, like how he made the plan and followed it and almost crushed his opponent. b6, b4. And also there is a concept called weak squares. Do you guys know about it? Weak squares.
Yeah. The squares which are not dependent by the pawn. Those are
Yeah,
weak
very good.
squares.
Perfect. Perfect. So if you see the king side, all these squares will be protected by the pawn. But if you see the queen side, everything is weak. Your pieces are more active and you can exploit it. That's what white did. We'll not move on to the, we'll not see the game so carefully, but just the planning part. See how he exploited. We'll see lots of examples like this. Now black is just trying to defend. Knight c2. Now what he did is, the knight on b4 wants to go to c6, but c6 is properly defended. Now he brought his knight to e3, c4. Attacking b6, d6 queen, and the knight is very strong on c4, no? And again, if he plays b5, lot more weaknesses are happening. The queen can come in with queen a5. Okay, I think we can move on to the next example.
Just in the starting position, just one question. Was
Yeah.
f4 f4 if they take e5, was that viable? Like here, is f4
No,
something?
okay. Let me ask you one question. That what do you think is the evaluation of this position? Is it equal? Is white better, or how is it? What do you think?
White is better.
It's better.
Evaluation, I
White
think
is better.
slightly better for white.
Slightly better for white. Whenever you have a better position, you should not try to complicate things. Like you have a clear-cut pass pawn on the d5. Protected pass pawn is a very big strength.
Yeah.
And then you can easily play on the queen side. But when you play f4, you will take e into f4, and suddenly the rook which on e8, which was doing nothing, will get some life. And after f4, ef4, gf4, he'll play something like f6. And then your pawn center, you see d5, e4, f4. Somehow it can be attacked. It feels like lose. What do you think?
I agree.
It's, it's possible. It's absolutely possible, but why to take this risk when you have a simple plan? When you are simply winning on the queen side.
True.
That's the point. Like before going to the next position, you guys must be having a doubt that when to create a plan. Did anyone have this doubt? Like we cannot create a plan
Yeah.
after every 1 or 2 moves like this. So there are two things in this also. Like in modern era, the openings have been very advanced, and you can prepare openings, and in openings itself they will give you some plan that the opening will end here, and now you have some plans. Suppose if I give you an example, in the Italian, the bishop c4, c3, d3, the pawns are on c3, d3. They say that you can play knight d2, knight f1, knight g3, d4 break. Sometimes you know plan before playing the game also. But sometimes suppose you play e4 and your opponent played g6 and you are just out of the theory. In those cases, I think it's better to create plan. Suppose when you have castled, when you have developed some of your minor pieces, now you have to create a plan to make it simple. You don't have to think that in a particular case. You know that when I castle, I'll make a plan. And also, after some changes in position, suppose one pair of knight got exchanged. Then also, you guys have not played classical chess more, no?
Yeah, we have played, but not up to the depth of the understandings which are connected. Yeah.
Because the things which I am saying is mostly are related to classical chess, because you have 90 minutes plus 30 seconds, you have a lot of time to think, and that's the real chess. But these things are not applicable on rapid and blitz, because if in a 15-minute game you think 5 to 7 minutes for a plan, then it will be very difficult to manage your time in the end game. Right?
Got
Yeah.
But anyways, if you get very good at it, you can make a plan in 2 to 3 minutes and can be useful in an rapid game also. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. So now this position, this is white to play. The queens have got traded. This is a pure closed position. What will your plan be? Very interesting position, this one.
Hmm. Knight b5.
Mm. Tell the plan, not the move.
The idea is to attack d6 pawn.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
we spot a weakness, weak pawn, and then we try to
d6.
play on the queen side.
Like knight b6, knight b5 to attack d6 pawn, and then if rook comes to save it, then the other rook is trapped by knight
Knight,
c7.
knight b5, black has a very simple move to defend both.
Okay, knight e8.
Knight e8 and he'll play a6 and just a waste of move.
Knight e8, yeah. Knight e8, I didn't see knight e8.
And also you don't have to see one move. You just make a plan. You don't have to calculate also anything. You just think that what I have to do. Like chess is like a war game, no? You have to make strategy. The knight b5 is kind of a tactical move. And to get good tactical move, you have to make your position good. And to make your position good, I think you have to make good plan.
Yeah.
What if we
f4.
play?
Yeah.
f4.
No, again, you are saying one move and f4 is a positional blunder. Can you say why? F4 is just a positional blunder.
Is it because it opens the bishop?
Yeah, the bishop on g7 is just dead. It's not doing anything. And f4, he'll take ef4. And then again, the rook will come to e8, some pressure on e4 pawn. The g7 bishop will also get life.
Okay. The idea was to develop my own bishop itself, that which is sitting on the c1. So I was thinking that develop my last piece which was sitting at there.
Mm,
What if rook b1 then play for b4, pawn b4, opening up the b file?
yes, that's the correct plan. Okay, I think you guys are getting confused with planning and moves. I'll repeat once again. Like this is a closed center. Now in a closed center, there is a plan to play either on the king side or the queen side. How you decide? By looking at the pawn chain. But here you will get confused. Like this pawn chain is like this pawn chain is like this. Then you should decide by looking at the opponent's weaknesses, where opponent's weaknesses are more and where can our pieces go. Well, see, in the queen side, d6 pawn is a weakness. And also, if we play on the king side, if we have to play on the king side, we have to play f4 break. And f4, as I already told you, that it's a positional blunder. So you have to play on the queen side. Like he said, rook b1, b4. There is a better way to do it. Can you say what? Better way to do it.
a3 b4, no?
Yes. A3 b4 is correct. Because if you play a3 b4, if you take cb4 ab4, rook on a1 itself becomes active without playing rook b1.
Correct.
And also there is one rule in close center, you should play more with your pawns because the pieces will not get good squares. Can you tell any square for a piece which is very good in this position? If you get that piece to that square, you will be very happy. Can you tell any square in this position for any piece? I think there are no squares for a good square for a piece. That's why you should play more with your pawns in a close center because there is less space and you will hardly get any good square for your piece in a close position at least. So a3, knight e8. Okay, and the second side of it. Now you have created a plan that you will play a3, b4. Your opponent should not defend like this by playing b6, a6. Like this, he should not defend. What he should do is he should also create counterplay. Where he can create counterplay? What do you think?
King side, because
King
we are
side.
going to play on queen side.
Yeah, king side, f5, f4, h6, g5. He'll try to take some space. White played b4, knight d7, rook b1, because he will not take. White understood that he will not take cb4, ab4. So let's bring the rook to b1. If I get opportunity, I'll take on c5 and the b file will be open. b6, knight b5. Now he wants to provoke a6. so that there are more weaknesses. Knight f6, rook e1, knight f3. And now we are very happy to get our knight to the queen side. No, the knight on g5 was doing nothing there. So it's very good to bring it to the queen side. Bishop d2. Will not go deeply into all the games. Our main goal will be planning. So I'm going a bit quicker in this portion. h5. And later white played a5 and won the game very easily. So main thing is that when we created a plan, we know we don't have to think in every move. It's very easy. Okay, next question.
One question. Like, why didn't black play f5? Yeah, like it felt like black was going for f5, but like from a very
I think maybe f5, black did not play f5 because he thought that he will gain nothing. Maybe white will not react.
ah
Maybe in this position you are saying f5.
yes.
I think in this position there is knight h4 attacking the g6 pawn. And anyways, I think white will just play f3 and he will just keep it like that. If you play king f7 to defend g6, white will just play f3.
Okay. And
Like in the later part he played f5,
okay.
but it was too late because already rook b3, rook a1, a5, and white was already smashing black on the queen side.
Just one more question in the starting position.
Yeah.
So a3, then a5, then okay, we get the b5 square, but will that be?
Yeah, exactly. It will be good, no?
Yeah.
Permanent outpost.
Got
And what we can do is a3, a5, bishop h3 is very powerful, I feel. Because when our knight comes to b5, no piece can challenge it. Otherwise, when you go knight b5, bishop d7 can challenge it. We exchange that piece. It's also called what do you say, playing on colors. The black pawns are fixed on the dark color. That means black's dark color bishop is bad. Our pawns are fixed on the light color. That means our bishop on g2 is bad. Our light color bishop is bad. So it's very good to exchange this piece. And then you will have a good bishop against a bad one.
Got it.
Did you all know about this point?
Yes.
Yeah. And then we'll play on the light color because there is no defender of the light color. The bishop on c8 is gone. He can defend it by playing knight d7, but then the bishop is locked. Okay. This position. I think now you have got some idea how to make a plan, but it's not easy. You have to see lots of positions. What I will do is I'll show you some examples of, now I'm showing you examples of close center. I'll show you some examples of static center and some homework positions to do for all of you so that you will get better used to it. Because when I was very young and my rating was around 1400, 1500, I was just preparing openings and doing tactics, lots of tactics. And when I go to play a tournament, federated tournament, the position comes very dull. There is no direct tactic. Opening is over, and now I am just blank. What to do? I'm just sitting. I am thinking for 5 to 10 minutes, making a move, and then again thinking for 5 to 10 minutes. And then I realized that this is my problem, and then I figured it out by learning this planning in middle game, how to make plans. So I think it will be very useful for all of you, because maybe you also get stuck when the opening is over, there is no direct tactics. What to do? Confused. Okay. So here, what plan can you make? White to play.
I think we should play on kingside then.
Okay, very good. And see, you correctly answered what to do, and now the question is how to do.
Kingside, huh?
Well, yeah. I think pawn push of h3 to h4, pawn push to h4, and then activating my knight to g5, and then eventually opening up my bishop,
Suppose
dark square
suppose
bishop,
you played h4 and you just played h6. Now what?
h6. So there is a possibility, right? Okay. I think I'll make a forward push of h h5.
Okay, and then what? Next, how to continue the
Uh,
attack?
I think my basic plan is to activate my dark squared bishop, and then I have a sacrificial ideas targeting at h6 pawn, which is placed at h6 black square. So sacrificial idea opening the king side position, making vulnerabilities on the king side, and then attacking the with my minor pieces coming to the king side, and then
Like,
attacking
it's
it.
completely possible, but there is a very good method to do that. Bringing your pieces, how to place your pieces. White did very well to
Can we
bring his
also
pieces to the
can
king
we
side.
also have knight h2 to g5 g4, like after h4 h5 knight h2 and knight g4, like
Yes, possible, but the better plan is like this: rook e1, h4, h5, knight f1, knight 1, h2, knight g4.
uh,
The knight on f3 is already on the king side, so why to disturb it? You have to do something about knight on d2. Will you place it on b3?
It's offside.
Mm,
Offside. No use.
mm,
So white started with rook e1 here. And then that plan knight f1, h4, bishop a6. And if he takes bishop into f1, we are very happy. We'll get the bishop pair advantage. Our bishop will come to bishop into f1, bishop d3. More active square. What should black do? Black will create counterplay on the queen side. Whoever is more fast will win the game. As simple as that. But you have to look for ways to create it as fast as possible. Queen d1, knight e3. This was also possible. Knight e3, knight g4. Developing the bishop, h4. And then in the later stage, white played h5, knight g4, brought his queen also. He gave up everything on the queen side. His a2, b2 pawns were lost, but he won the game on the king side because there was a very strong attack. Both the knights will join the attack. The rook can lift somewhere, not now. Bishop is always eyeing there, and the queen will join once the knight on f3 remove. Okay. Yeah, so I was telling about my games. No, let me show you one example of my game itself. This is a game in 2024. So we played knight h5. Now, what will be your plan as white?
I think I'll play on the queen side, push the c pawn forward, and try to exchange and make a counterplay on the king side.
Again, good that you found the correct plan playing on the queen side. But there is again very nice way of bringing your pieces. Very instructive way. Find how to bring your pieces.
Knight e1 to d3.
Correct. b4, knight e1, knight d3, c5, and then punishing him on the queen side. This is what happened in the game. Like I've started with b4. I played knight e1, knight d3. I posted my pawn on f3 when his f5 break came, and then I just moved on with c5, a4, c6, and just crushed him on the queen side. But what if I did not know this plan? The most logical thing would have been done by me was g3, knight e1, knight d3, and play for f4 break. You see the same examples we saw, the f4 break. You guys said that f4 break. If I don't know this point, I would have played g3, f4, most probably. Then again, I am playing on the side which he is stronger. Again, his bishop will come to f6. Bishop will get a nice diagonal. Rook will come to e8. Okay.
One question here is like the black played knight h5. So from this move, like it seems that black plan is to come to knight f4, right, or something else.
Yeah. But I can always play g3 for that, no? Knight f4 g3.
Yeah, like
I'll not allow him to exchange my knight. My knight on d3 is way powerful than his knight on h5. What do you think?
okay.
Or if I play g3, are you thinking about knight h3 check? I'll just play king g2.
Yeah. No, like before playing b4, like uh, I was just thinking about knight f4 and what will black do on knight f4.
What happened in the game? He played queen
Yeah,
d7.
that's
Okay.
actually just why I wanted to know. Like you played b4, but you must have seen okay, knight f4 is coming,
Yeah,
right?
it was
And you
played in
avoided.
2024. So I do not remember it properly, but I think knight f4 g3. No? G3. You'll play knight hf4, right? Not knight gf4.
Okay, okay, like yeah, okay.
Do not exchange that bishop on e3. That's the most important piece in this kind of structures, because after c5, cd6, cd6, the d6 pawn is weak, and you need that bishop somewhere to attack that. Very powerful bishop. You should not exchange it.
Yeah.
I think g3, knight h3 check, king g2. The king is very much safe, and I don't think anything is happening there. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Just one question, like, what if instead of b4, straight away knight e1 d3, then c5? Was that were you like thinking of that plan?
I was thinking for that plan only, but I was thinking like if I can play b4 c5 without knight e1 knight e3, because in these kind of positions you have to be very fast.
Yeah,
Maybe if I waste time with knight e1 knight d3 and he creates something on the king side very fast. So I do not want to be slow.
got
That's why I played first b4.
got
Okay. Let's see some static center positions. Let me first explain you what are the plans, so that you guys better understand the plans. Just example. Yeah, like just a short example that what is static center. I already said d4 d5 pawns will be there, or e4 e5 pawns will be there. You can interchange it, but one file will be kind of open. In these kind of positions, the main plan is like the e5 c5 squares are very important. Your pawn is fixed on the dark color. So which color bishop you should exchange?
Dark.
Dark color bishop. Very good. So that your knight can jump to e5 or your rook can jump to e5 without getting hit by the black's dark color bishop, because that is kind of an outpost. And whenever black plays f6 to remove that, he weakens more. So main plan is playing on the center only, e5 c5 squares, uh, e dominating on the e file, trying to dominate on the e file, doubling there. And also one more structure is possible. I remember now. One more structure is possible. It can be like this also. Instead of c2 pawn, the white pawn is on e3. Now black's main plan will be to play on the e file, e4 square. White's main plan will be c file, c5 square. And also there is a very famous topic on in this. Do you know about the minority attack?
Yeah, minority attack. Yeah.
Yeah, like b4, b5.
B4, B5. Yeah.
With our two pawns, we are attacking three pawns, black's three pawns. That's why it's called a minority attack. Okay, let's see some examples.
so
These are the main points. Yeah,
So these static positions, they like just semi-open or semi-closed positions.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, suppose this is the position and white to play. This can be also an example where both C pawns are not there. But the main point is that two pawns are facing each other in the center. Now, how will you play? Like in the close center, we saw the main role is of the pawns, but here main role is of the pieces. How you place them is very important. These are actually very boring positions to play, but you have to excel in them to become a better player.
So in these kinds of positions, usually I don't know what to do. So my instinct is to trade some pieces. Usually that's what I do. Like bishop b5 is one move that comes to mind.
But that's a very defensive mindset
Ah,
because if you keep more pieces over the board, if you try to keep more pieces over the board, it also sends a message to your opponent that I want to fight
oh,
because more pieces, more complications.
sure.
Which move did you suggest, by the way?
Bishop b5.
Bishop b5.
Yeah.
Okay, decent move, but I think d3 bishop is quite good. You should not change it.
Bishop f4.
Yes, bishop f4 is a good move. Trying to take control of that diagonal and later playing maybe trying to exchange bishop e5 when the knight is not on c6.
Yeah.
But bishop f4, I think black is trying to play knight c4. So that's why white played first b3. Just killing this knight. This knight does not have any good square to go now. And after queen f6, knight b5, protecting the d4 on queen e7, bishop f4. And now what you can do is bishop d6, f4, put your bishop on e5, or maybe f4, f5. Now you have good control, and opponent's pieces do not have any idea. The bishop on e6 is just a traitor because he neither does anything nor is allowing the queen and rook to become active. And then we have good control over the c file, e5 squares. The knight on b6 is also not doing anything. So white just converted this advantage later. Okay, let's see one more example. But to be honest, this kind of positions, it's not easy to handle. If you see lots of positions, lots of ideas, then only you will become good at it, because it's not that easy to handle. Because there can be multiple plans like e5, c5, e file, c file is open, and then you have to see that your opponent's pieces do not become active.
So just
Okay.
one question. So for example, in close positions, we the assertions we can play with some pawns. Like we can play with pawns more. We have some generalizations. Like in such static positions, do we have any such generalizations that we can keep in mind?
No, that's why I told no static
Ah,
position it's more difficult because you don't have any generalization.
got
In
it.
close center, there are some generalizations that I said, like the clear side where you have to play
Ah,
by looking at the pawn chain. You have to play more with your pawns. In open center also it's there, but in static center it's not easy.
mhm.
But some plans are like focusing on those important squares like e5, c5, and d4, d5 pawns are there. Okay. Um, let's see this position.
Here I like knight a4 c5 maneuver. If after a4, if they play b6, bishop a6, making sure that they can't take the c5.
You're saying knight a4, knight c5.
Yeah. If they play b6, bishop will have a6.
Okay, nice. But he can also play knight a5.
Ah,
Okay, this position is a bit complicated, but to let you guys understand more, I'm giving a more simpler example, and so you can understand better. See, this one is nice. This position, white to play. Very nice plan white did and won this game.
Again, like my white bishop is not much active, so bishop f4, g6, g3.
But why do you need to play this? Bishop f4, bishop g3.
Yeah,
Oh, I thought bishop f4, g3.
no,
But
bishop f4, bishop g3.
okay, suppose black just moves his queen. No, black will not move his queen somewhere. Maybe he plays knight e6.
Then bishop g3. For knight e6, bishop g3.
Okay, that's fine. Queen b6. I wanted to hear the main plan in this position. Bishop f4, bishop g3 is fine, but the main thing. What's the main thing in this position?
a5.
Okay, I'll give you a hint. Sometimes a piece which looks very good has a better square. That's
Maneuvering of the knight.
Knight g4.
Knight to d3, I guess, and then
yes, knight d3, knight c5. Now you are also threatening bishop f4.
Yeah.
Okay. Opponent cannot play knight e6 because a b5, knight into d4, bishop a3 is coming. But before he could have played knight e6 to direct bishop f4. So knight d3, the knight will come to c5, the bishop will come to f4. Now both pieces will not come in their way because the knight on e5 was coming on bishop's way. So knight will be stronger on c5, and also the bishop can sit bishop f4, bishop e5, and you have full control over the most important squares. And the knight e4 can be just met with f3. So white here played knight d3. Okay, I think maybe it must be very complicated for you at once, but if you see a lot of examples like this, you'll get better. Like I spent around 3 months for these 5 centers. Daily, I used to spend around 1 hour, 1.5 hours. Then I got better after 3 months because these are very deep. Because in different positions, sometimes little different plan will work. Okay.
So just
So now,
one
yeah,
question, like knight d3. Knight d3, then knight d7, then bishop f4, queen c6. No, queen c6. Then because the knight is covering c5, right? So can will that be any problem?
queen's queen c6, rook c1. No, your piece is going.
True. But will that be a problem? The knight covering c5 square, like let's say knight d3, then knight d7.
But bishop f4, like you have to see concrete things also, no?
Yeah.
To make a positional idea work, you have to see tactics also. It works or not. Because after bishop f4, no, knight d3, knight d7, bishop a3. You just lose the exchange.
Sure.
You cannot play b4 because bishop into b4 is coming.
Yeah, got it.
Okay. So now, do you have any doubt on these topics? Anything or even other than this topic in your chess, something.
If you don't mind, can we also do the earlier position, which like can we just see what happened?
Okay, earlier position, this one, no? So here
Oh, one second. It didn't load.
it did not load. Okay. Actually, in the earlier position, it was difficult. As I said, we can form different plans. White played here rook a d1 with the idea to play bishop d1, queen c2. And the rook on d1 is better placed because it defends the d4 pawn. You need your knight to attack, knight g3, knight h5. That's why rook a d1, not rook a c1. That's why I told that I should not show this position. This will be a bit difficult. That's why I skipped it.
It's really deep.
Rook a d1, I think you would have not find it. Like you will not get the idea. Not easy.
So like the but why do you think like white rejected knight a4 c5?
Maybe he thought that this plan is better, no?
Ah, got it.
That's also good. Knight a4, knight c5 also. For me, I personally feel that's also a very good plan to bring your knight to c5. It will Black will feel very uncomfortable with the knight being on c5, attacking e6, b7.
Got it.
But maybe he thought that this plan is better. Okay, let me continue how he played bishop b1, queen c2. And then whenever g6 comes, this f4, f5 break becomes very powerful, opening up the position. So he played knight g, I think he played knight g3, no, knight f4. F5. F2. Now already g6 is being played, so dark color are weak, so he does not mind exchanging this b1 bishop. Next move, queen h4. d5 will fall, I think, eventually.
Ah,
Yeah. Yeah, so I was asking whether you have any doubt.
Yeah, I just wanted to. I was just wondering that earlier also I talked to one of the coachings in the Noida about if I were to attain some sort of title, let's just say FIDE master or something, what would be the roadmap or something like that? And is it even possible at the age of what we are around 28, 29 to have some targets like these? So what are your views on this part?
I think it's possible, but you have to dedicate a lot of hours of your day into chess, like minimum 4 to 5 hours a day. Regularly, you have to dedicate. Then only you can achieve like FM, IM, like that. Because the chess is already growing a lot. Because in India also you will see a lot of chess players, lot of chess tournaments happening. So everybody is getting stronger. The competition has become very strong. So, but I think it's very possible if you can put in those hours to work, then it's very possible.
How much time, matlab duration, like 2 years, 3 years, 4 years? Uh, just a rough idea.
I think if regular 4 to 5 hours a day with good tournament selection, that's also very important. Then, yeah, 2.5 years, you can become very easily if you do it very seriously. Quality should also be very good. Yeah, can do it.
You mentioned about like good tournament selection. So how to do?
That is the thing that we'll discuss later. Till that point of time, we just focus on the game.
Yeah, no, I think like good tournament selection, meaning that you should not play tournaments regularly also, and you should not play tournaments once in a while also. That means you prepare 1.5 months and then you play. That's what meant, because there are a lot of tournaments, and you when you start playing, you will get used to it. I want to play all the tournaments. Also, this can happen, or you will be underconfident and you think I'll play one tournament in 6 months. That's also very bad.
One more thing
Yeah.
I was wondering, that should we focus like Anurag plays Sicilian and I like to play English opening or something else like, so should I concentrate on one style of playing, and then once I get very good at those pawn structures and those thematic understanding of the game, then I should diversify my game, or should there be some other way around?
Like, the answer is simple. If you want good temporary results, then it's good that you study only the openings which you play. Like, only study those structures which you play. But if you want a long term goal, you cannot become a very, you will be stuck. You will be stuck in some point. Like, you will increase, like you will get a rating around 1600, 1700, and then suddenly you feel that you are not just moving ahead, because you were very unidimensional kind of player. Like, in past it was possible. People used to play like Karpov. Karpov just used to play prophylaxis, positional play like this. If you would have gone in this era and you would have played like that, you would have not even reached 2600. Because with modern engines and all, you have to be multidimensional. You should know how to play all kind of structures. Everything should be sorted.
So, one question. So
Yeah.
usually there are a lot of books for these tactics, right? Like, for we have like Woodpecker or many such books. But what about like for these kinds of topics, like for like for this long-term strategy planning? Like, are there any good books that you can read?
I think Grandmaster Preparation Positional Play. Very good book.
Guard, right? By Jacob Agard.
Yeah, just its name is Grandmaster Preparation, but it's not that tough.
Okay, got.
They have given it a wrong name.
Ah,
It's not that tough, but it will be very good if you do those. Yeah, positional play and strategic play. Both of Agard is very good.
got it.
Strategic play is a bit difficult, but positional plays, I think you guys can solve it. It will take some effort. Yeah, and one thing I would like to ask, like, what better I could have done in explaining these topics, because I have learned this topic very early, and I think I could have done better in explaining clearly.
Like in my opinion, like you said, no, there were five types of center. So I think that pictographic representation of those five types of center should have been shown in the very first instance, and then exploring the first part, and then this is the most difficult part, and then we, like you said, no, this is like the position we are seeing right now. So this is the most difficult position in out of those five. So we'll tackle with this at the last. So slowly and steadily, we gain the confidence that we have already solved three kinds of positions, and there are only two kinds of positions left. So I think that maybe
Yeah,
that was one of the way.
true. That could have been better. Yeah, thanks.
Pictorial representation is always good to grasp quickly. Like,
I'm not that much experienced in all this, but yeah, I'm trying to learn.
yeah, it's still yet first, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay then.
Yeah.
Okay then.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Okay, I'll share some positions on this topic. Yeah, your homework will be to solve this one. Yeah. Okay then. Bye bye.
Bye.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.